and you are ready to call his name. It was Ziggy? Yes?
My name is Natalie Conlan. I am an MSc student in Forensic Anthropology, and my study is about the preconception of paranormal phenomena and psychic detectives in forensic investigations. It's basically studying how people's reactions and how their pre-thoughts about forensic investigations, and how is it right that they should get involved in forensic investigations, and do people actually believe that it's a good thing for them to be involved, or do they think it's a con, especially in forensic investigations where missing people are involved, and are they just preying on like vulnerable people? So we did a project where people believed that they were going to see a real psychic, and they watched what the show was about, and then at the end they got a questionnaire to say, you know, do you believe what you saw was actually a genuine psychic? And we compared it to the first questionnaire that they did, which was about the already preconceptions, and we compared the two questionnaires together, and it was like pretty significant findings, yeah.
The performance that actually was a test and was done, not saying that I was a magician, but just presenting the effects as they are, even not pushing too much on the psychic side as other people do, especially if they claim to be a real psychic, was a mix and mingle of different effects. I perform my PET, that is my classical effect, like psychometry, and then I move to different effects using tarot cards, using playing cards to read the mind of the people, but also to read their personality. Then I move to different effects related also with a pendulum, and then I move to the classical channeling of spirit, so a sort of a seance, so trying to be in some way possessed by the spirit that the people want to talk with. Due to my ethic, I never perform this kind of effect, even if I do this to entertain people, trying to involve the dead relative of the audience. So I just try to channeling historical souls, let's say the soul of Napoleon or of Julius Caesar, Walt Disney, or whatever. Of course, I cannot say how I did this. I can of course say that everything has been done without any aid of any paranormal skills. I was using stagecraft skills, public speaking skills, and of course magic skills. One thing that I can say is that, for example, for the pendulum routine, what I use is what is called ideomotoric effect, or ideomotoric motion, or ideomotoric response. What it is basically the fact that if we think about a movement that we can make with our hands, the hand seems to be stiff, but in reality the hands has very, very tiny little movement according to what we are thinking. And this is also due to a physiological response of our muscles that are not completely relaxed. Now, if from my hand there is a string with a little weight, what happens is that a movement of, let's say, 1 millimeter in the hand is amplified by the long string, and at the end will become a movement of 10 centimeter, and this will be very evident. So this can be done unconsciously by a person that is believing that it is possible that the pendulum is moving. Regarding tarot reading instead, what I did is cold reading and general Barnum statements. It means that I just look at the person and I can try to think what kind of lifestyle this person can have. It's a sort of investigation a la Sherlock Holmes, if you want. What kind of problem this person can have. If I have a girl let's say between 20 and 25 years old, that is coming to me asking for a tarot reading, I can imagine that her first focus is on love. If instead I have the same person that is coming later on in her age, let's say around 30, 35, maybe now she's more focused on her career. And of course, I can target my reading in this way. Plus, I can use very general statement, the same statement that are used by the people that are writing horoscopes. The result of the study is partially what we expected. So when you attend a alleged demonstration of a paranormal or psychic abilities, the public can be so impressed that they change their perception and they change their belief. What surprised was actually the amount of changes that we were able to observe, because in some cases the number of people that before show they agree that paranormal phenomena exist and there is a possibility to talk with dead people through a medium, for example, through a psychic, this number of people increase 6 times. And also that people that are strongly agree. People that they generally agree with this statement, so that it's possible to have psychic abilities, in some cases the number increased to 30% compared to the beginning. So yes, what we obtain is something that we expected, but not with a so big amount of changes.
From the performance, obviously, we weren't using a real psychic, so people believed that a non-psychic was actually doing this. And you can just see by the performance that a mentalist and a magician can play tricks and replicate what a psychic can say they do. So by saying that, we're saying that they shouldn't be used in forensic investigations because they're not scientific, and based on that performance you can see that, you know, they shouldn't be used.
The result of the experiment demonstrate that if you have the experience, if you attend a sort of seance or demonstration of a psychic or spiritualistic ability, you could change your mind and you could start to become a stronger believer, or even just a believer from a neutral position. We had only few cases, but we had, of people that came in the room with a skeptic attitude. We test this before the show and then we test after, and they change their mind. So even the skeptic can change their mind. This kind of experience is really a mind-blowing experience and can last forever inside the person, because the person can say, oh well, I saw that with my eyes. So this is why the show, if we want to call like that, but it would be more correct to call this the experiment, the test, ended with a debriefing session where I explained that I was not a psychic and everything that was done with the use of magic effect, or trick is not a good word to say, as a magic effect, or even science as for the ideomotoric response. After the explanation, the belief go down and they understood, even the believer, they see the debunking process and they go back and they became a non-believer. So this is also a very, very important thing that we obtain. So the fact that you can demonstrate that someone without any psychic ability can replicate exactly everything that can be done by an alleged psychic. Now, if we can replicate this without the use of paranormal ability, but just the use of magic effect, everyone actually can do that. So why I should believe in psychic? What happened is that the population of the believer that attend the show move to the skeptical side. So this is also an added value of the experiment, because we can show the importance of an hand-on experience and also the importance of the debunking done, not only writing in scientific paper, not only writing and telling this to the media, but providing people with the experience, because it's the experience that teach the people. And this is also why, for example, in our university, we are so focused on practical session when we teach, because it is the practical experience. And for this side, we had, the lesson that we gained from Harry Houdini, that was a great debunker of psychic, that was doing it in this way, but also James Randi, that was one of the founder of the Skeptic Society, that I am a fellow of. So that is the important point.